And welcome everyone to the Ginette Biro Podcast. I'm Ginette Biro, and thank you always for joining me on the show as we share messages from, the higher realms to ascended masters, you name it. And today the messages are coming from the three guides of the light. And they had some really beautiful stuff to share about what's happening on the planet right now. So first of all, I was pretty grateful that they came through just to answer some of the questions I had for myself personally. And then also for how it affects the collective. And so I'm going to dive into that just to help you guys maybe feel some grounding with what's been happening. So there was three main messages that they had to share. And the first one was that something new is being formed on the planet here. And when I asked them what that meant, they showed me kind of like this energy ball of light consciousness that has been brought here for the planet. And it's to benefit the world. And as grandiose as that sounds, it really is true. It's to benefit the world, almost like a healing balm that kind of covers the whole planet and the collective. And this really is for humanity. Like, this is for humans, because the animals are already connected to this beautiful grid of consciousness. And it's humanity that's kind of lagging a little bit in some forms. And so the purpose of this energy coming in is to really restore hope and the joy of heart for people. And it's happening from the ground up. So it was interesting because last week we talked about the sun's rays and the solar energy of consciousness coming down in kind of these pulses, right? And then this week it's been about these energies coming in from the earth coming upwards. So we're in this sandwiching kind of energy again, which is really unique because the energy signature of this consciousness that's come onto our planet is very different. And people are experiencing it in different ways. I know for some, they're feeling kind of an underlying anxiety type feeling that doesn't apply to anything in their lives or even the pandemic itself. Like, there's a certain anxiety we can connect to in relation to the pandemic, but this one is different. And so this one for me personally was creating these crazy heart palpitations. And I've had heart palpitations before, as many of you do. It's kind of normal, but I'm talking ones that would last for like 3-4 minutes at a time of flip, 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 and then pause for 3, 5, 8 minutes, and then happen again for like 18 hours overnight even. And it was really odd. And it wasn't, when it was first happening to me, I was kind of questioning like, is something wrong here? And then when I decided to ask what else could it be, because again, I'm not hesitant to ever get anything checked out medically, but I've learned such a curiosity as to what symptoms are happening because of a spiritual or energetic upgrade. And in this case, it was really interesting because when I tuned in to the energy and started talking with the three guides of light about what's happening, is this energy ball was creating such an energy on the earth that I was feeling by literally being a human on this earth. It was pulsating upwards, and whenever those pulses would happen, my heart would physically react to the energy influx, like this wave. And I was like, wow, is that ever unreal? And I mean, I can still feel it. And so again, some of you might just be feeling the hum energy of it. Some of you might just be feeling peace. And if that's the case, that's ideal. And others of you might be feeling, again, these kind of heart palpitations or rapid heart rate. So I do want to say, of course, if you are feeling anything with your heart that seems a little odd, do check it medically. If there's nothing, though, consider what kind of spiritual energetic symptom it could be as well. Because for me, when I then tuned into the energy of what was happening, my heart steadied, just beautifully steadied. And so I thought that was really quite cool. And so Spirit again said they're wanting this energy, this pulsating energy of sandwiching kind of humanity in the middle of light and consciousness. Is their desire is to make this energy more tangible. And that's why it's not just coming from the solar light down, but from the earth up. And this tangibility they're talking about is they're wanting to bring in more synchronicities and more solutions. So synchronistic events that are tangible on the planet, so like occurrences experiences, and solutions. And I thought that was interesting that they're coming in saying we want to bring solutions. And so what that looks like yet, I'm not sure. We're going to see what that looks like. So over the next month or so, it'll be interesting to observe what kind of solutions start to show themselves in the world around us, whether it be in our own personal lives or in our communities or even globally. What solutions are surfacing that are really changing the direction we're going in, or the way that we deal with things in our world. So keep an eye out for that, because again, this influx of energy that came in, this beautiful orb of light consciousness, was so that we can get things underway. Like the changes that people are waiting to see, hear, and feel, it's that kind of energy. So that's got me pretty excited that way. So that ties into the second message that they were talking about, which is how our chakras are awakening right now, again, to a higher energy. And so the way they explained it to me is it's almost like it's creating a rainbow bridge, because if you think about it, for those that aren't familiar, your chakras are 7 main energy centers that run through your body, and there are many, many, many. But these are the 7 main ones. And they go from root chakra, which is kind of base of your spine, and that's a red one, to your sacral chakra, which sits low in your pelvis and is the color orange, to your solar plexus, which is kind of above your belly, and it's yellow. Heart chakra is right heart center, it's green. Throat chakra is over your throat, it's light blue. Third eye chakra or brow chakra is right over your forehead, it's kind of indigo. And then your crown chakra, which connects you to the higher realms, can be gold, white, light purple, sometimes silver, depending on how you see it. These main energy centers, representing the rainbow colors and the rays of light, are awakening to a higher energetic frequency of embodiment. And so what that's causing for many people is this feeling of fatigue. And so some people are finding they can barely even get out of bed right now, and it's not out of depression or things like that, but it's like this energetic drain on their bodies right now is so intense that it's hard to keep up. And rightfully so, because the amount of upgrading happening in our bodies is a lot. So remember, we talked before that December 21st, we stepped into a higher trajectory of movement and consciousness in a higher timeline, and a steeper trajectory makes things travel at a faster rate. So we are awakening faster. We're accessing higher frequencies faster, and that, as great as that is, it's also hard on the physical body sometimes. So yes, we are connecting to this rainbow bridge through our chakras, but sometimes we need to rest, and we need to eat a little more, or eat a little cleaner, or eat a little more of a certain macronutrient. Like maybe you might be drawn to more fats or more carbs or more protein right now. Like your body will tell you what you need to help calibrate this, including sleep and rest. And so with these chakras awakening, we'll also find that it's creating, for some people, like a spiritual detox, if I could say that, or an energetic detox. And what that kind of looks like is confronting different triggers within, or the universe asking you to look in a mirror. And it's not always looking in a mirror to see negative things about yourself. Sometimes it's looking in a mirror to see who you've become and embracing who you have become, because it's great. So when we're being asked to look in a mirror, it's not always look in the mirror and see who you are and dig through that. And sometimes it is. But what they're getting at is all of it is good. Because if we're going through and diving into triggers, we're diving into them so that they no longer are triggers. When we step into it, we can then help release it from being a part of our path, which then opens up the beauty of who we are. And when we open up that beauty of who we are, we also need to then see it and appreciate it for the journey and the growth. You don't plant a rose in your garden to never look at it and admire it. You plant it so that it can grow and that you can enjoy the bounty and the beauty and the aroma of it. The same thing goes for you. You are that rose. And so whether this chakra awakening is causing triggers to come up, or mirroring, or simply peace and harmony, the invitation is to open to it, embrace it, and also balance it with rest and play. Because with any of the ascension symptoms that we're experiencing right now, whether it be the heart palpitations, the low-grade anxiety feels, the triggering, the mirroring, even just a high vibe of energy where you're not sleeping and you don't even know why. There's nothing wrong, but you just can't sleep. There's too much buzzing. Balance that with rest and play. So rest can come in many different forms, like a bath or a yoga nidra or meditation or play. If you've got kids, play with them. If you've got pets, play with them. Go for a walk in nature. Do stuff that makes you feel happy. Listen to music, create, dance. Balance out the energy of growth right now, because we can't just be only growing and growing and growing. We have to balance that and harmonize it along the way, so we stay this idea of wholeness instead of becoming all one side or all the other. So that's the invitation with the understandings of the chakras awakening into this rainbow bridge-like energy to the higher realms. And then the third thing they wanted to talk about was the idea of hold your heart center. And when I asked them to explain that a little bit more, they said, hold your heart center, meaning hold your personal truths in alignment. Come back to that with everything you're questioning and everything you're experiencing. They said, let yourself experience quiet certainty. And I thought that was an interesting statement, because if you know your heart, if you know your alignment, if you know where your boundaries are, regardless of what's happening to you externally, you can experience quiet certainty within your heart being. That calm undercurrent, that grounding place of knowing. And if you don't know what that is, then that's what these triggers are showing you. These triggers are carving out space for you to feel that. Or maybe the mirror is asking you to recognize who you are and how amazing that is, so you can come to this place, this heart place of quiet certainty. And I thought it was interesting they used those words, but it was really powerful. They said, trust your intuitions and your instincts when they come from a steady place. And I said, well, aren't instincts different than intuition, or is instinct the same as intuition? And they said, well, it can be both, which is often their answer, right? Because nothing is black and white. But whether you resonate with the word instinct or you resonate with the word intuition, in this case, they were saying they're one and the same, because if either one comes from a place of peace, of a steady undercurrent of energy, you can trust the message in it. If it comes from a place where it feels chaotic and spiky and all over the place, then there's something else in there, whether it be fear, ego, conditioning, that's not allowing it to settle and show you the truth of it. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. And so really, when you come into that place of alignment, where you've really gotten to know yourself, you can start to determine what your next right step is and trust in those steps, like Spirit's been saying all along. And so they're saying, again, with the chakra awakenings that are happening energetically and this new energy sphere that's encompassing the planet right now and wrapping it around in this beautiful healing balm, hold your heart center. Come back to your heart center with everything that's shifting and changing, and stay there. And do what you can from that point. And if you stay in that point, you have an ability to provide yourself nurturing, peace, and safety. And there is nothing more powerful than when we can start to feel safe and secure within self, no matter where we are and no matter what is happening around us. So that's the messages that they had for you guys today. I thought it was really quite beautiful, considering everything that's going on and the amount of changes and energy, because man, is the energy ever crazy. Right now, it really is. I'm feeling it a ton. But I love that there is this beautiful energy happening on Earth that will make itself known through these synchronicities and solutions like they were talking about. I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for that to see what that is and how it manifests in my life. And I encourage you guys to do the same, because, with spring coming, there's this beautiful energy of new growth, of new life, which is what we can really embrace right now. So keep that in mind, and just be willing to observe. They're really saying observe the world around you. So I'll leave that with you. As always, thank you so much for joining me on the show, and do like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you guys are looking for more information or ways to connect with me personally, please join me on the Avalon Spirit Facebook group. I am on there every day interacting. You can ask questions, tons of like-minded people on there. And we'll just keep bringing in info from the higher realm. So I wish you guys a wonderful week, and I'll chat with you guys again soon.